The following is a dramatic reenactment of Richard Ramirez's upbringing. These are all real quotes, and this is his story. Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, has been deemed a made sociopath as opposed to a born one, meaning he's a product of the environment he grew up in. Richard was subjected to head trauma, rape, violence, and murder all before the age of 13, creating the killer that he is today.
When I was young, when I was like 5, 6, I opened the curtains, and outside the window, there was a monster. Big, hairy monster.
Did he tell you to do anything?
No. I mean, I used to get scared. Scared a lot.
Richard grew up in El Paso, Texas, as the 5th child of Mexican immigrants, Julian Ramirez and his wife, Mercedes. His father was a hardworking man, but quick to anger. This resulted in him physically abusing his wife and children, as well as himself. Julian was fixing the sink with his son Richard when he could not properly get the drain pipe to fit into the wall connection. He began to curse at the water pipe for not fitting and became more and more frustrated the harder he tried. He stood up in front of his children and began hitting himself in the head so hard that blood streamed down his face. Julian would beat his children brutally, and Richard, being the youngest child, meant he witnessed everything going on in the house from a very young age. As a child, Richard suffered from a lot of concussions. On one of these occasions, a playground swing hit him too hard and he was knocked unconscious, leaving him with several stitches in his head. These concussions were the main cause of Richard being diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy in 5th grade.
Ricky suffered from severe concussions. He had an accident, and he had a great concussion on his head. I started noticing that on those severe concussions that Ricky had, he started suffering from epilepsy attacks. And at the 5th grade in Cooley School, he had one of the first seizures in the classroom. They took him to the nurse's office and they gave him, his parents came for him and they took him home.
When Richard hit puberty, his temper continued to rise and he became more disconnected from his immediate family and friends, drawing further away from society and more into himself. He became interested in Satanism and worshiping the devil. When Richard's cousin, Miguel Ramirez, came back from the military, he became a fatherly figure in his life.
Miguel would get animals, and he started showing Richie how to cut the neck, from one side to the other, to hit the arteries, to make them bleed out. He was bad. He needed help, and he wasn't an adult figure to take care of Richie or teach him right from wrong. Miguel fought in the Vietnam War, and some of the guys that go out and fight come back normal, and some of them, they come back messed up, and he just went crazy.
Was your cousin an influence on you?
Yes. I looked up to him because when you're at that age, superheroes, the war heroes are in comic books, TV. This motherfucker, he was vicious, mean, strong,
Miguel showed 12-year-old Richard photographs of Vietnamese women that he tied up, beat, tortured, raped, and violently killed. This left a huge impression on Richard and made him believe that violence and sadistic sexual behavior were normal. And did you see the photos that Miguel took?
I didn't mind seeing all that gore and violence. It was a turn on, and it was exciting.
And what happened when Richard saw Miguel shoot his wife?
It was a sunny day. I'd been with Mike that day hanging out, and he got to his house around 3 p.m. He went and got the gun from the top of the refrigerator and got closer and blew her head off, right here. Richie saw everything.
It wasn't dramatic, but the shock value. I went back into the apartment to collect some things with my dad because my cousin was in jail. The bed was all bloody. It was there where she landed after the bullet. She got a 38 to the face.
He used to say, there's no thrill like a good thrill.
In Richard's childhood, all he knew was the abuse from the way his family treated him and the violent behaviors his cousin taught him. This made him believe that it was normal to kill and sexually abuse people. At the young age of 24, he became a serial killer, murdering 13 people and ruining the lives of so many.